All right, 212 automatic delegates will meet on Saturday to elect the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the upcoming Anambra state election. Two court judgments previously nullified the PDP recognized Anambra State Executive Committee and the outcome of the ad hoc delegates election earlier conducted by the party. The PDP has now dissolved all its executive committee in the state and will use automatic delegates for Saturday's primary place of the ad hoc delegates. Automatic delegates are mainly past and present political office holders who are still in the PDP.
Right, to look ahead at tomorrow's primaries in the state, we're joined by Ikenna Alumona, a professor of political science in Anambra State. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight. Tell us what you make of this PDP situation as they go into the primaries. Of course, tomorrow, some are saying it looks like deja vu. The same situation that played out, before Willie Obiano became governor, seemed to be playing out again.
What is happening now is not different from what has been happening with the PDP. Now is not that whenever it comes to a transition to a new government, issues, transition, internal party democracy will arise, issues, and put the PDP in a crisis situation that at the end of the day, they will not be able to win the election.
Now, let's talk about the two court judgments that nullified the past executive committee. The question will be, whatever caused that rift, that conflict, that misunderstanding within the party, has it been resolved for them to be able to probably take the helm of affairs in Anambra State?
It has not been resolved, because if it has been resolved, there will be stability, there will be unity in the party. But at the moment, you have court judgments. Even the Honorable Mobu-led government also has a court judgment backing it up. But I think what the party is doing is to find a middle point by saying let super delegates do the primaries. So the issues has not been resolved.
Haven't been resolved, and they go into this primaries tomorrow. What does that mean for the chances of the PDP? Because INEC has, continuously raised the alarm that the internal, democracy has to be seen to have, happened within the parties.
The implication for internal party democracy is that the super delegates will do the election, but coming from the INEC dimension in terms of moderating and regulating the election, I think there will be a problem, because like in the case of ABGA, INEC is saying that we are not involved. And I'm afraid INEC will also repeat the same thing, because the issue of super delegates electing, doing the primary election, I don't think INEC is also carried along, because what they did initially, which INEC was part of, was the world congresses that elected those who will vote during the primaries. I think INEC was part of that. But this super delegate method that they just adopted recently, all of a sudden, I don't think INEC is being carried along. And then along the line, I believe INEC will raise the issue of regulating that process the way they are raising with what ABGA did. Because INEC is trying to assert its authority. Although authorities have argued that based on the electoral law, INEC doesn't have that explicit powers to determine for the parties the way to go about their primaries. Once the party states what they want to do, it is left for the parties to go ahead with it. But I believe with the position the PDP is taking as of now, using the super delegates method, that INEC will definitely raise issues with them, because they raised the same issues with ABGA.
Understand these automatic delegates, if you like, you call it format, that PDP is adopting. Is it new? Is it allowed by INEC? Could they be shooting themselves in the leg? And then, of course, let me also ask you what you think that the chances of PDP in this particular election are.
The chances for the PDP is high because, for me, this party, this super delegates election method they adopted is to run away from the problem of the numerous courts judgments, because the court judgments already is questioning the authority of the sitting Honorable Ndubisi Bush-led ESCO. So if that ESCO is allowed to go ahead with conducting the primaries, somebody might tomorrow come up and say that ab initio, this executive is not, this state ESCO is not qualified to have carried out this function of doing the primaries. So I think to run away from it, the National Working Committee of the PDP came up with this idea of super delegates, which in this case, you will not say they were elected by the state ESCO, but these are former party men that have held several offices in the party, coming together to elect the candidates for the party. So I believe with that, the PDP will run away from litigations or issues, legal issues that might affect their chances in the election. The only place I see a problem might come up is with INEC coming to make claims about regulating or monitoring the process.
I haven't talked about the 16 candidates of the PDP. Do you envisage a consensus candidate emerging tomorrow? What do you think? And do you think as a whole, whether you're talking about APC, the PDP, ABGA and other parties, is this going to be a transactional politics playing out in Anambra State? It's been defined as a battleground of the billionaires, of the deep pockets.
No, I didn't really get what you said last.
I'm talking about the what some people have described as transactional politics playing out in the lead up to the election, in the bid to get a successor for Willie Obiano, whether you're talking about the PDP, APC, or ABGA. A battleground of billionaires, that's how it's been described.
I don't see any transactional politics playing out, because the different parties at the end of the day will present their candidates and they will go to the field. The PDP for tomorrow, definitely a candidate will emerge. Yes, they have 16 aspirants, but the super delegates will at the end of the day elect one person who will fly the flag of the party. So at the end of the day, you have the PDP with a candidate, the ABGA with a candidate. All we don't know is what INEC will make out of the process, because INEC is insisting that they are not being carried along. But that also has a snag, because following the electoral law, persons have been questioning INEC's interference with the process. So by tomorrow the PDP elects a candidate, and then the APC elects a candidate, these are the three main parties. Those who are not comfortable, or those who are not comfortable with the outcome of the PDP party primaries tomorrow, I believe will still remain in the PDP, and then ensure and work for the party to win the main elections.
The primary coming up tomorrow and the election itself in November, that's specifically November 6th. Do you get a sense that the electorate in Anambra State are getting to know the candidates better, in a way that they'll be, better educated as to who to cast their ballot for?
Yes, I believe the electorates are getting to know the candidates, but will get to know them, because already the ABGA, because of power of incumbency, is selling their own candidates. Even before Professor Soludo finally emerged, the party has been doing everything to project his candidature. And by tomorrow, by tomorrow after the primaries, the PDP will zero down on a particular candidate. Even before now, the different candidates have not also been going around the state trying to sell out their manifesto to the people. So I believe the electorates are aware of those who are coming out for the elections. But the problem is that the only little issue is who will fly the party ticket, the party flag at the end of the day. For the APGA, already we know who is flying the flag, Professor Chukwuma Soludo. But by tomorrow evening, or whenever they are done with the primaries, we will know who will be flying the PDP's ticket. Then it's remaining for APC, which will also do their own elections. For the YPP, is Senator Ikenna Alumona,
yep,
who is also already.
Let me take you up on that. Like you said, we now know that Professor Soludo is the candidate for APGA, and APGA is the incumbent there in Anambra State. So, if you juxtapose Soludo with whoever comes out from PDP, and of course you may answer, wager a guess who you think will come out from PDP. If you look at their pedigrees, do you think that Soludo probably stands out or otherwise?
Whoever comes out from the PDP, I believe Soludo has a pedigree. I'm not too involved with what is happening in the PDP, but speculations is that at the end of the day, Senator Uche Kunife might pick the ticket. At the end of the day, Uche Kunife is also known, and with the party backing her up, I believe she stands a chance of clinching the ticket. But for now, I believe Soludo is somehow the leading candidate, not just because of the power of incumbency of APGA, but because of his pedigree. A former governor of Central Bank, he has held so many national and international positions. So somehow he's already known. But that you can't really predict in politics, because at the end of the day, it is the electorate who will decide at the end of the day. All we might do at this point,
correct that you never know. Thank you so much for being on Newsnight.